It's mid-November in the mountains of south central British Columbia. And for Trav and I, at this time of the year, there's only one thing on our minds. And that's late season, rutted up mule deer.
And this buck is just hot on this doe's tail. He's following her wherever she's going.
The weather this week is heavy snow, dense fog, and cold.
Literally, as soon as I get back out here, it's just wall fog again.
The terrain is steep, shaly, and snow-covered hillsides, and the deer are in the middle of the full-blown rut. So as a mule deer hunter, there's simply no better time to be in the mountains with a tag in your pocket and a rifle in your hand. On this trip, we've got 7 days to find and kill not one, but 2 4-point bucks. We're headed into an area we've never been to before, and so we're sticking close to the road system for the first few days until we can find ourselves a spot that meets all of our criteria.
Well, picked up our first buck of the morning. We got a 3-point here across the ridge. It's pretty far out, 1.5 kilometers or so, but it's good. Sign of life, at least. Haven't even seen one doe on this mountain yet, though, so we're gonna keep our eyes open, and if we don't see too much for does around, we're probably just gonna keep on moving here, because it'd be nice to find a good pack of does so we know that there's gonna be some more different bucks coming into the basin. You know what they say, where there's one, there's one. At least. At least.
Now, without overstating the obvious, the perfect spot for us has to hold some good deer numbers. But it's also got to be partially burned. We want it to be as steep, nasty, and craggy as possible. And most importantly, it's got to be far enough away from the roads that no sane day hunter can access it without a backpack, camping gear, and a multiple days supply worth of food.
Well, we just found a pocket of deer here. The rut is definitely on.
Is that the bucks, or is that just does? Those ones? Looks like it. They're all moving fast, eh? There might be another little tiny buck just following that doe.
We're watching a little spiker buck chase some does around, and then a better buck came out. Not sure how big he was. We kind of just caught a glimpse of him, and then he kind of got down under this ridge line here, and as we were trying to pick him back up, we just picked up a hunter who's right there. He's got to be within a couple 100 yards of this deer, so we just might hear a gunshot here any second, because that deer just went right down the hill, and that hunter seems locked onto him, so it's unfortunate, but good for him, I guess, if it is a good 4-point. He looked tall. I don't know if it was a 4-point or not, but it looked like he had some pretty good mass on him too. But I'm excited that, last year when we went out, the rut was just kicking on at the tail end. Right now, it's full swing. Both these bucks are just noses to the floor, moving fast. One's face is right up that doe's butt, and he just chased her right up the whole mountain. So that makes me happy. It means we're going to be seeing some bucks this week. I'm 3 already this morning, so no complaints. I think we should probably leave this hunter.
Yeah.
And these deer get out of here.
Go find their own.
Yeah.
Well, we got about an hour of daylight, camera light left. Picked up 5 deer. I think two of them are bucks. One is he's got a nice frame, but I think he's just either a 2x2 or 2x3 or 3x3. And then the other one is just a younger buck. They were sparring earlier, but I couldn't get the camera on them fast enough for that. The other ones are all does. They're a long ways off. They're, I'd say 1,400 yards. Nothing we can make a play on tonight anyways, but this is a new area we just moved into. We're just checking it out. We haven't set our hearts, we don't have our hearts set on any locations yet, so we're just going from one spot to the next, trying to figure out which mountain range we want to hunt. This one's really attractive. We just don't know. We haven't seen enough deer on it yet to decide whether or not this is where we want to stay and keep hunting, but we'll keep looking at these deer and see if anything else pops up before sunset here. So,
Oh, there's a deer right on that finger ridge. Yeah, I can't tell what it is, but it might be the buck, or maybe it's another doe. I don't know. Like, right where I was telling you that it was coming down earlier, it's right on that ridge.
there's another deer.
Okay.
Holy crap, right on the top.
Same
Right on the top. So from where the doe is,
Yeah.
go this way to the top.
Okay. Yeah.
These deer are just coming out of everywhere. Yeah, it's another doe.
Oh, it's a matter of time then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the buck is there. I seen him. But that's 5 does in that little bowl. So,
Well, that little basin's got quite a bit of deer in it. I would really like to see. I shouldn't have took my eyes off that frickin' buck. I don't know where he went.
And that is
that's a doe.
it's another doe.
Holy crap. They're coming out of the woodworks here.
Yeah.
Where is this buck? Oh, she's looking straight up. There might be another deer above her.
I wonder if they're bedding in that bush line up top there. That tree line up there. Seems like that's where they're coming from, eh?
Yeah, it does.
Now, this morning's glassing session proved quite fruitful.
6 does, no bucks. Dang it.
We picked off about 15 deer, mostly does and a few young bucks. So we decided we're going to spend a day or two here and really pick this place apart.
With all these does around, it's definitely gonna be a freaking decent buck coming to check him at some point today.
Be something.
Okay, so don't anybody laugh, but I think we got a band of wild horses. We've been seeing all these signs everywhere for wild horses, and we're out here. This is all public land. There's a freaking band of horses. They don't have brands or anything like that, so I'm really inclined to believe that they're actually wild horses. This one looks like a cow. I mean, I don't know who would ever breed one to look like that, so cow horse, but pretty cool. They're actually fairly close. They don't really seem too spooked at all, which is a little odd, but I think they're actually wild horses, so that's cool.
Now, after doing a bit of research, I found that this region of BC is home to between 800 and 1,000 head of feral horses. So to answer the question, yes, these were in fact wild horses. When the average daytime high stays below 0 and you're spending about 14 hours a day in your tent, it sure is nice to sleep in a nice toasty warm shelter. So while it's just too foggy to glass, we're taking advantage of the weather window and we're moving our camp higher up the mountain in hopes we'll find some bigger bucks up top.
Okay, so when you put this pole in, one thing you don't want to mess up on, and I made that mistake before and paid for it, but this rubber cap here, make sure your pole goes in that. One time I wasn't paying attention and I put the pole on the outside of that rubber seat, and it snowed about half a foot overnight and the tent collapsed. The pole went straight through the roof. But if I would have done it properly like this, it would have been fine. These wood stoves, you gotta love them. Essentially this right here, which you see for parts, and this is the entire wood stove and stovepipe. I think it weighs 2.7 pounds, I can't even remember, but it's sub 3 pound stove and stovepipe. Just to make sure we don't burn any holes in our tent, these stoves come with a spark arrestor here, so the way to put this is on the bottom. That way it keeps it clean with the flames too, it doesn't clog up. And then we also have a nice little damper here, control our heat. Alright, so we got the tent pretty well all set up. Now last step here, we just gotta put in some anchors and tie out those guy wires. We were gonna use the stakes, but last time we tried using the stakes, they froze into the ground and we broke a bunch trying to pull them out. So we're gonna try something different this time. We're setting up dead man anchors. So what you do there is you take a piece of wood, grab it, tie the rope to it, put it in the snow and then bury it. And then hopefully overnight tonight that's gonna freeze. And then it should make sure that all our guy wires are nice and strong. And hopefully not losing any stakes. I mean, we still have 4 stakes in the corners, so we'll see how cold it gets and if those break when we pull them out. But I've never really tried this for all the guy wires on a tent before, so hopefully it's strong enough and doesn't get too windy and blow the tent over, but time will tell. I'm excited to get that wood stove fired up here. We're gonna go cut some wood here and fire it up. Well, fortunately for firewood, we're in like a burned off, a logged out, burned off area, so there's plenty of deadfall all over the place, nice and burned and dry. So we're gonna get to cutting here. We're gonna have to cut ourselves a pretty good supply of firewood. Little trick for anybody who doesn't know, these stoves, they can take about 13, 15 inch pieces of wood. So usually comes to right around here on that handle. So it's really nice to just measure as you're going, so you're not just guessing and then you end up with some pieces that are too big. It warms you up 3 times. Warms you up once when you cut it, once when you split it, and then once when you burn it. So I'm already feeling a little toasty, a little sweaty here. I'm gonna get this stuff, try and split a little bit of it anyways, because one thing with round logs, it's really nice having one of those saws to actually cut it. But when you're using round logs, it's like it burns really slow. And because these stoves are so small, it's nice if you have kind of a mix. You have some that are split and some that are round, so it burns a little bit slower, but also a little bit hotter with the ones that are split. If you have a whole bunch of just round stuff, you don't get that same kind of heat, and I find it smokes more too. So all I'm making here is just a little spot to stack our firewood. So once you pile it, it doesn't roll out. Just you taking a branch, tying it up to the teepee pole. That way, just put our wood right here, stack it up nicely so it dries right behind the wood stove there. So with this stick here, when you pile your wood, you got something to butt it up against. That way it doesn't fall all over the place. The other cool thing is you got a lot of little branches. You can hang your gloves, your socks, even your boots off of to dry. Okay, well, I'll get the wood all set up. The stove is started, so I'm gonna get this fire going a little better here and then close it up. Hoping that over the next couple of hours while we glass, well, there's not much to glass. I mean, it's just a wall of fog, but
while we attempt to glass. That snow, we're gonna hopefully have it all melt there out of the bottom so we can get properly set up so we're not sleeping on snow the whole time. We did bring some ground tarps, worst case, but it'd be real nice if it was just ground and not a snow layer underneath us. So
Couple cow patties as cushioning.
yeah, exactly. There's cow crap all over the place. But anywho, so we're gonna get that going, close this thing up, let her warm up, and hopefully this fog lifts, we pick up some bucks.
We woke up this morning to more wind and fog. But by about 11 a.m. the fog started to break, and as soon as it did,
Got some deer.
we picked up our first 4-point of the trip.
This guy's just on the hunt. I think he's got like sticking out of the front. He's got 3 off like where it would be a spike. He's got a 3rd one there.
Now he wasn't a mature buck by any means, but his antlers did have some pretty cool characteristics.
He's got 3 tines sticking out of one spot, and on the right, he's got a drop tine. It's like, he's got weird tines, man.
Cool.
Watching this buck at 500 yards on the hillside, with his nose to the ground moving as fast as he could following a doe track, to me is what symbolizes the mule deer rut, and why I just love it so much. Even though this isn't a buck we plan on killing, it's still enjoyable just to watch him go through the motions of the rut, this close to us, yet completely indifferent to our presence.
Currently we got 2 deer there, 1 buck bedded here, 1 doe feeding up top there. There's 2 more, actually there's a doe bedded down just below that one in the tree line. And then there's a couple does up feeding over here too, covered in deer, which is a good thing. When the rut is on, you want to be covered in deer, covered in does, preferably.
Well, I think we just found our second, 4-point, but this one's a proper 4. He's, I can't really see all his headgear yet. He's kind of just thrashing up some trees here, but he's got a pretty good back fork. Oh, he's going back into the trees. Damn it. We only got about an hour and a half left of daylight, and he's in a straight line over 1 kilometer away from us. I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it there before dark, to be frank. I mean, we might. Or we might hike all the way over there and he might not be there. He just turned from there and started going back up. So we'd have 1, 2, he's in the 3rd ravine from us. Which, I mean, if we really ran, we could probably make it to shoot him before dark, but I don't think we'd be able to get very good camera footage. So I think we know he's in here. He's not gonna go run away. Instead of risking it and blowing him out, we just wait, find him again in the morning, hopefully, and kill him tomorrow. What do you got, Trav?
I got a doe and a really nice 4-point, or really nice buck. Mitch, come check this out when you get a chance. It's definitely a nice 4-point, like a good shooter, I would think. Oh yeah, he's outside the ears. Well, just to say.
Oh, buddy, he's a stud. No, it's definitely the same buck we just seen.
Yeah.
He's got a crab in front.
Yeah.
He's a 3x4.
Oh no, so then he's the different buck then, because I know for a fact that the one at lower,
Yeah.
on the left side there was a.
Oh no, that's 4.
Okay, yeah, it is a 4x4.
What the heck? What am I looking at here? That's his head turn. Turn again. Does that back tine not split?
On that side, I think so. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Splits.
I think it's his front.
yeah.
His front left is not split. He's maybe a 3x4. But that doe's in heat for sure.
Oh yeah, he is on her.
She's an estrus for sure.
He's like, hey baby, give me some lovin'.
Right at the top, right in that saddle. That far nipple, right in that saddle.
Yeah, he's a nice deer, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same buck, to be honest. The one that we saw, Rubman, I could swear that his left side had a fork at the front.
Well, that's good. We know there's 2 4 points in here. That gets me stoked up. I really want to get a better look at this guy though and see. I know he had some pretty decent backs. His front on the one side looked pretty weak, but I'll see what the other side looks like.
Regardless, one of us is killed.
One of us is gonna put him to sleep. You got it.
Next time on Alpine Carnivore.
This buck needs to die. Oh my. It's dumping snow here. You hit him.
Might have to cut him off at the top of the hill. But he's on the move. He's running, so who knows?